Welcome to Cheat Sheet Tale, where secrets slip, lies unravel, and the truth always has a twist. Real stories, raw confessions, and shocking betrayals. Drop a comment if you've ever caught a red flag too late. Now let's get into today's tale. My cousin asked if she could borrow my card for a Target run. I said no. She took a photo of it when I wasn't looking. Within hours, she spent $200. When I confronted her, she smiled and said, "You'll get it back eventually." I reported her immediately. The card was reversed. She was investigated. Then she had the audacity to ask me for a character reference for her job application. I sent them a screenshot of her charges instead. They passed on hiring her. She texted me, "Wow, you're really petty." I replied, "No, I'm just really done." This happened about 6 months ago, but I still think about it every time I open my wallet. I'm 37. I live just outside Fort Worth, Texas, in a quiet neighborhood where people still wave when you drive by. I've lived here almost 10 years now, bought my house during the pandemic. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine. I work full-time in IT at a local logistics company, and I freelance on the side, being networks for small businesses. I don't have kids. I'm not married. I keep my life simple and organized because I didn't always have that growing up. Money was always tight. My mom did what she could, and I learned early on that if I wanted something, I had to work for it. That mindset stuck with me. I save. I plan. I don't spend unless I've got a cushion. I'm not rich, but I'm stable, and proud of it. Then there's my cousin, Brielle. Brielle is 29 and the complete opposite of me. She lives her life like she's always 10 minutes away from a crisis. She's been through 3 apartments in the last 2 years, 2 boyfriends, 4 jobs. There's always a story. A roommate stealing from her, a manager sabotaging her, a car getting towed because someone moved the signs. It's never her fault. Ever. We were close when we were younger. I looked out for her, drove her to school when her mom was working doubles, lent her clothes, gave her gas money more times than I can count. I tried to help. But after a while, helping felt more like enabling. So I stopped. Or at least, I thought I did. It started on a Thursday. She called me out of the blue around 3:00 p.m. "Hey, can I come chill for a bit? My roommate's being toxic and I just need some peace." I didn't think much of it. She'd done that before. Pop in, eat my food, complain about life, scroll on her phone for an hour. I had the day off and nothing. Urgent to do, so I said fine. She showed up 30 minutes later, wearing leggings and a hoodie, carrying an empty Starbucks cup, and talking fast. "Ugh, you would not believe my week," she said, kicking off her shoes like she owned the place. "My roommate's cousin is staying with us and he's disgusting. Like he leaves beard hair in the sink and walks around in his boxers. It's nasty." I nodded, half listening, while pulling frozen pizza from the oven. She followed me into the kitchen and sat on the counter, like she used to when we were teenagers. Then, casual as ever, she asked, "Hey, do you mind if I borrow your card real quick? I need to run to Target. Just some snacks and diapers and like a few bathroom things." I turned and looked at her. "You don't have your card?" She gave this little shrug. "Lost my wallet. Already canceled everything. I'm just waiting for the new stuff to come in. I swear it's under $100. I'll Venmo you back today." I paused. It wasn't the first time she'd asked for money, but it was the first time she asked to physically take my card. "No," I said. Not mean, just clear. "I don't let anyone use my card. Even family." She blinked. "Seriously?" "Yeah," I said. "It's nothing personal." She didn't argue. Just did this fake little okay and went quiet. We watched TV for another hour. She scrolled her phone while I half-watched an old episode of CSI. Then she said she was tired and left. I didn't think anything was weird until the next morning. I was up around 6-9 a.m., sitting at my kitchen table with coffee and going through my usual habit, checking my bank account. It's part of my routine. I like to keep track of every dollar. That's when I saw it. 3 charges at Target, $103.12, $287.76, $519.68. My stomach dropped. My first thought was that my card had been stolen. Then I saw the timestamps. They started less than an hour after she left my house. I froze. I stood up so fast, my chair nearly fell over. I opened the banking app, zoomed in, confirmed the location. Target on Bryan Irvin Road, less than 15 minutes from my house. I knew it wasn't a coincidence. I called her immediately. She didn't answer. I called again. Nothing. I texted her, "Brielle, did you take a picture of my card?" 10 minutes later, she called, and she was laughing. "Wow, you check your account fast," she said, like this was some kind of joke. "Brielle, what the hell did you do?" "Relax," she said. "I just needed to stock up on a few things. I'll pay you back. You took over $200. You stole from me." She paused. Then, clear as day, she said, "You're doing fine. What's the big deal?" I couldn't speak. She went on, "I'll pay you back eventually, okay? Stop acting like I robbed a bank." I hung up. I was shaking. I felt violated, not just because of the money, but because she did it while I was in the house. She waited until I left the room, pulled out my card, took a picture, and smiled to my face like nothing happened. I called my bank, froze the card, filed the fraud report. I told them the truth, that I knew who it was. They refunded everything within a few days and flagged the charges. But I didn't stop there. I filed a police report, not because I wanted to ruin her life, but because I wanted it on record. What she did wasn't a mistake. It was intentional, planned. She waited for me to leave the room. She thought I wouldn't notice. And when I did, she laughed. 2 weeks later, she started blowing up my phone again. "You really reported me? Wow, you're such a narc. I thought we were family. You're dead to me." I ignored every message. Then, a month later, she texted like nothing had ever happened. "Hey, I listed you as a reference for a job. They'll be emailing you. Can you say something nice? I need this, please." I stared at my phone, stunned. She had the audacity to think I'd lie for her, that after everything she did, I'd help her land a job. I waited for the email. When it came, I attached screenshots, the bank charges, her texts, the police report number. I didn't add commentary. I didn't need to. I never heard back from them. But 2 days later, I got another text. "Wow, you're really petty." I replied, "No, I'm just really done." 2 weeks went by after I sent that reply. "I'm just really done." I blocked her number right after. Thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. On a Wednesday evening, around 6:30, there was a knock at my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I checked the ring cam on my phone. It was my aunt, Brielle's mom. I hesitated, then opened the door. She stood there in scrubs, arms crossed, jaw tight. "We need to talk," she said, before I could say a word. I stepped aside, let her in, but stayed near the door. I could tell this wasn't going to be a friendly visit. She sat down at my kitchen table like she'd done 100 times before, but this time, her face was hard. "I know about the charges," she said. "I know Brielle used your card, but come on. You really had to go to the police." I stared at her. "She stole from me." "She borrowed—" "No," I snapped. She waited until I went to the bathroom, took a photo of my card without permission, spent $2,200 and laughed in my face. "That's theft." She waved her hand like she was brushing away dust. "You act like she robbed your house. She's just struggling. She made a dumb choice. That doesn't mean you destroy her future." I felt my face go hot. "She destroyed it. I just told the truth." My aunt leaned forward. "She didn't get that job. She's behind on rent. She's getting eviction notices. And now she's saying you told the employer she's a thief." "I didn't tell them. I showed them." She glared at me, stood up and said, "Family doesn't treat each other like that." I crossed my arms. "Then why did she treat me like that?" Silence. She walked out without another word. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed, still angry. But something else started creeping in. Doubt, guilt. I didn't want to feel it, but I did. Not because I regretted what I did, but because I hated how my own family twisted it. They made it sound like I was the one who went too far, like it wasn't her fault, but mine for not letting it go. The next morning, I got a message on Instagram. It was from some guy named Dante. Profile picture showed a tattooed arm and a steering wheel. He sent one message. Yo, you the cousin who snitched my blood ran cold. I clicked his profile, public, and there she was, Brielle, tagged, in photos with him. Her new boyfriend, apparently, and clearly someone she vented to about me. I blocked him. An hour later, another message, different account, another guy. You messed with the wrong one. She got people. I blocked that one too. That one too. Then I made the mistake of checking Facebook. Brielle had posted a long status, not naming me, but clearly about me. Crazy how some people pretend to be family until you need them. Y'all ever been betrayed by someone you used to babysit? Yeah, same. Comments filled with support, people saying you'll bounce back, sis, and don't let fake people block your blessings. No one knew the truth. No one knew what she really did. So I did something I hadn't planned on doing. I posted my own status. I didn't name her either, but I told the story. Word for word, dates, amounts, how it happened, the screenshot of the charge totals with the timestamp, her laughing response. Then I added one sentence at the end. If someone thinks that's how families should treat each other, they're not my family anymore. Within an hour, the comments blew up. Some people messaged me privately. A few cousins I hadn't talked to in years said they'd had their own run-ins with Brielle, borrowed money that never got paid back, phones that mysteriously went missing. One cousin said she once caught Brielle trying to open a store credit card in her name. Suddenly, I realized I wasn't the only one. She'd been pulling this stuff for years. The difference was, I was the first one who actually did something about it. But that came with a cost. By the end of the week, I was pretty much iced out by that side of the family. No more birthday texts, no invites, no check-ins, just silence. I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt, but part of me started to wonder, why now? Why the sudden heat online? Why the new accounts messaging me threats? Then I found out Brielle had done something worse. I found out by accident. It was a Saturday. I'd gone to my favorite local coffee shop, small place in Benbrook. Nothing fancy, but quiet. I like to sit by the window, sip my coffee, and scroll through news or Craigslist. I've always liked browsing the free section. People give away the weirdest stuff. That's when I saw it. An ad for gently used electronics. Cheap, posted late. The night before. No pictures, just a list. Wi-Fi router, portable hard drive, printer, brand new modem, keyboard plus monitor combo. Whole bundle. All clean and wiped. Message for pickup. It stopped me cold. I don't know what made me click it. Maybe it was the weird way it was worded. Maybe it was the timing. But I messaged the seller using a burner email. Said I was interested. Asked for a photo of the stuff. They replied 2 hours later. And when I opened the picture, my stomach flipped. The router was mine. I recognized the white scratch on the top. It happened when I moved in. The monitor still had the little Apple sticker I'd put on the corner. And the hard drive, black, old school, with a dent on the back. Mine. I was staring at my own stolen tech. I hadn't even realized it was missing. I hadn't used that gear. In a few months, it was all stored in a plastic tub in the garage. Backups from a freelance job I'd finished earlier that year. I didn't check it often, but it was valuable. Especially the hard drive. I raced home. Went straight to the garage, yanked open the bin, empty. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I checked the door, locked. No sign of break-in, nothing out of place, except the bin. That's when it hit me. Brielle had been in my garage. It made sense now. That day she came over and hung out. She asked if she could do a load of laundry. I said sure. My washer and dryer are in the garage. I even told her where the soap was. She was in there for nearly 20 minutes. She didn't just take a photo of my card. She looted my storage while I watched TV. I snapped a screenshot of the Craigslist ad, the photo, the email, the timestamp. Then I called the detective who had handled my credit card case. Left a voicemail. I also emailed everything. Within 48 hours, he called back. I'll be honest, he said, this gives us more. Between the fraudulent charges and now stolen property, We may have enough to pursue real charges, not just a citation. Do it, I said. She's not going to stop. He didn't promise anything, but said he'd open the case back up and start digging. Meanwhile, I kept checking that Craigslist listing. It went down 2 days later. I didn't hear back from the burner email again, but I had what I needed. A week passed. Then I got a call from my old landlord. I hadn't spoken to him in over 2 years. Weird guy, but decent. I'd rented a duplex from him before buying my house. Hey, just wanted to check. Are you subletting your old place or something? What? No, I moved out 2 years ago. Well, someone dropped your name. I asked for references on a tenant, and she gave me your info, said she was your cousin, Brielle. I nearly dropped the phone. She used me as a rental reference. Yep, said she used to live with you, but the info wasn't matching up. Thought I'd call and make sure. I told him the whole truth. He thanked me, said she was already on thin ice, and hung up. That night, I got a new Instagram DM, new burner account. One message: "You're really making it hard for her to survive. That's not revenge, that's cruelty." I stared at it for a long time, and for the first time, I started to wonder, was I crossing a line? Or was I just the first one who said enough? A few days after that last message, I started noticing something weird. My work email was getting spammed, hundreds of messages. Random junk, fake subscriptions, foreign newsletters, online dating sites. My inbox went from normal to chaos overnight. At first, I thought it was a glitch, or a mailing list I forgot to unsubscribe from. But then I got an email from my boss. Subject: urgent. Suspicious activity inside was a forwarded message. It was from someone pretending to be me, using a Gmail address that looked just like mine, but with a number at the end. The message said I was planning to quit soon, and asked HR to expedite my final paycheck to a new bank account. Mawai. Boss wanted to know if it was real. It wasn't. Someone was trying to mess with my job. I replied fast, cleared it up, flagged the fake email. Our IT team traced the IP. It came from a location in Arlington. I knew exactly who lived there. I didn't have proof it was Brielle, not enough to press charges. But come on, who else? She couldn't get into my money anymore. She couldn't get into my house. So now, she was trying to take my job. I felt sick. I'd worked years to build a reputation. Late nights, weekends, overtime without complaint. And with one fake email, she almost made me look like a flake trying to bail out early with cash. I locked everything down. 2-factor authentication on every account. Changed all passwords. Pulled my credit report. No new accounts, yet. But I knew now, I had to stay ahead of her. Because she wasn't just vindictive. She was reckless. And reckless people cause damage, whether they mean to or not. That weekend, I drove to my mom's house in Granbury. I needed space. I didn't even tell her everything. Just that Brielle was getting into some serious stuff, and I needed to lay low a bit. My mom shook her head. "I love your aunt, but she's been covering for that girl since she was 16. You try to raise a kid with no rules, and then act surprised when they turn into a tornado." We sat on the porch. It was quiet. I started to feel human again. Then my phone buzzed, a Facebook tag. Brielle had posted a video. It was her, in her car, crying into the camera. People don't understand what it's like when your own family turns against you, when someone who's supposed to protect you decides to ruin your life out of spite. I've been pushed out of jobs, out of housing, and now people are sending cops to my door. Made mistakes, okay, but I'm not a monster. I'm just broke and tired. The comments were a mess. People crying with her, offering money, some asking for her Cash App. She was spinning the whole thing into a pity campaign. A couple cousins shared it too. One of them added, "You don't turn your back on family just because they're struggling." That one hit me. I didn't reply. I didn't defend myself. But I knew something had to change. She wasn't just lying now. She was profiting off it. I screenshotted everything. Then I made a quiet call to a lawyer I knew from one of my freelance clients. Explained the situation. He didn't say much at first, Then he asked me to email him the screenshots, the videos, the false employer emails, and the Craigslist stuff. He said, "If she's making money off of defamation and using your name and job fraud, we might be able to do more than just file reports." "What kind of more?" I asked. He paused. "Civil suit, restraining order, maybe both." I'd never sued anyone before, but something in me snapped. Because up until then, all I wanted was to get my money back and be left alone. Now I wanted something else. I wanted accountability. I gave the lawyer everything: the messages, the police reports, the fake job reference email, the spam attacks, the Craigslist ad, the video of her crying, calling me a traitor and a monster, every piece of it. He put it together like a puzzle. Within a few weeks, he filed 2 things on my behalf: a civil lawsuit for damages, including the stolen tech and false representation that hurt my job reputation, a request for a restraining order based on digital harassment, impersonation, and public defamation. I knew it wouldn't be cheap. He warned me, "This will get ugly. Are you sure? Are you sure?" I was sure. I tried being quiet. I tried moving on. All it got me was more lies and deeper cuts. When Brielle got served, she went ballistic. She posted again, this time a rant. Wow, just wow. When you've already ruined someone's life, but still want more. My cousin is suing me like I'm some kind of criminal. This is what happens when people get money. They forget where they came from. She was unraveling in real time. I stayed silent. I didn't post. I didn't defend myself online. I let her talk. Let her build the record. 2 weeks later, her Cash App got flagged and shut down. Turns out some people started reporting her for fraud after they saw my screenshots floating around quietly in comment sections. The story had begun to turn. People started asking, "Wait, is any of this true?" Screenshots don't lie. I didn't plan that part, but I didn't stop it either. She tried to delay the court process, claimed she didn't have a lawyer, then missed a filing deadline. The judge moved forward anyway. We had a hearing. She didn't show up, so I showed everything. The lawyer presented it clean, sharp, and calm. The detective even wrote a statement. The bank confirmed the charges were fraudulent and reimbursed. The Craigslist data matched her old IP. The judge granted me the restraining order and a judgment for damages, $20,300. It wasn't just the stolen stuff. It was also emotional distress, the cost of security upgrades and legal fees. But the money wasn't the real punishment. The real punishment came later. Brielle didn't pay. So the lawyer filed a wage garnishment order. Turns out she did finally get a job at a call center, $16 an hour, full-time. Now she's losing part of every paycheck until I'm paid in full. And the restraining order, it showed up in a background check. She got fired within a month. She messaged me from a new number after that. "I hope you're happy. You destroyed everything." I stared at the message for a while. Then I wrote back one line. "No, you did." She never replied, and I haven't heard from her since. I still feel a knot in my chest when I think about it all. I wish it hadn't gone this far. I wish I hadn't had to spend so much time, energy, and money just to protect what's mine. But I also know this: letting people walk all over you in the name of family only teaches them that they can do it again. I didn't enjoy what I did, but I don't regret it. Brielle made her choices. I just made sure she had to live with them. And me? I live in peace. I live in